Welcome to the Black and Green Podcast. It's your go-to place to find the latest high-quality, all-natural products created by Black artisans. Hosted by yours truly, Dr. Kristen H., the founder of Black and Green. We'll discuss all things health, wellness, self-care, and of course, self-love. This podcast features a refreshing lineup of guests, from entrepreneurs and artisans to holistic lifestylists and clean beauty experts, and a plethora of other innovators within the wellness industry. Join me as we learn from the best of the best. Welcome to the Black and Green Show. This season is about conscientious living, where every choice matters. I'm your host, Dr. Kristen, and we will explore the power of intentional decision-making in every area of our lives. From the products we use, to the foods we eat, the hobbies we build, and the books we read. This is your space to pause, reflect, and take charge of your choices. In a world full of noise, it's easy to move on autopilot. But what if you stop to think? Each decision is an opportunity to align with your values, nurture your well-being, and create a life you love. Together, we'll dive into transformative conversations, practical tips, and a little soul searching to inspire you to live conscientiously every step of the way. Let's redefine what it means to live well. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Tyler. I'm a herbalist, I'm a holistic health educator, and I'm a birth worker. I'm also the owner of 80 Herbals, where we bridge the disconnect between ancestral healing and medicine and the needs of the modern world through herbal medicine like teas, tinctures, honeys, and education.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I honestly feel like unless you grew up in a family where this is what they did, you aren't really exposed to it. So how are you exposing people to the power of herbal medicine?
Fortunately, I was raised in a household where this was on the front forth of everything. And then everything else fell, after that. So I do agree with you about not really having access to these type of lifestyles and mindsets. What I'm doing through my business and just my presence is within my community, family and friends and different local organizations. And then also through my actual business where I have an online business where I create the herbal products. My online presence as well. I'm constantly putting out different series and videos and just information so that people can realize how important it is to be able to incorporate stuff, but then also how easy it is.
Yes,
A lot of people are intimidated by the idea of eating better, incorporating certain things into their lifestyles. And I just try to show through the way that I live, through the way that my family lives, and through the way that I impact the people that are near and dear to me.
Awesome. What does the phrase food as medicine mean?
It means a lot, honestly, right? Because even on your introduction, how you mentioned, it's basically like a way of life. It's in with everything, the things that we eat, everything that we digest, whether it's food, that we're eating, things that we're watching, music that we're listening to, the people that we're around, or social media diets. Like, food as medicine means a lot. But in short, it's more so that food it's more than fuel. It's also like comfort and culture and connection. And we kind of sometimes, we really need to be mindful of it, because if we don't have that clear connection, then it can cause imbalances. So when we think of food as medicine, I'm thinking of food in the way that it fuels us, in the way that it nourishes our mind, our bodies, our souls, the way that it brings us closer to people, closer to better health, closer to death. If we're not mindful about it.
I think that we don't think about that food can bring us closer to death.
depending on what we're eating. That
I hate the phrase, people are like, oh, we're going to die anyway. Absolutely. But you get one body. Why not treat it right? It can't get you far if you're not giving it the tools to get you far. If you're causing it to break down sooner. I think about that with people who, unfortunately, like lose their mind before they lose their body. And it's just important to look at it the other way as well. You can lose your body before losing your mind if you're not pouring into it the way that you should.
Yes. But you're right. People just think it's so difficult. So make it easy for us. What are easy ways to pour into your body?
Ritual, right? Ritual. That's the key word for me. The reason that I started my business was using tea as a ritual. That's the easiest, earliest ways that our ancestors were incorporating this into their lives. Whether you're drinking a cup of tea to help you get ready for the day, or to settle in at night, or to have before or after a meal for, digestion, for healing imbalances, for, even just maintaining good health, so ritualizing the act of eating better, having certain habits and things that can just bring all of the things together. So whether when you're eating, you're like, okay, let me go ahead and add some fresh dandelion to my meal. Now that's going to go ahead and help you with, your digestion. Or I need to make sure when I wake up in the morning, let me drink a room temperature cup of lemon water. Getting everything started, just ritualizing these things and realizing how you feel after you do them. Because normally, like I have a lot of people who I was able to help, transform their approach to things. And sometimes people, they need proof first. So you give them one task. All right, when you wake up in the morning, make sure you drink a cup of room temperature water and make fruit be the first thing that you eat in the morning. Do that for a week or two straight. See how you feel. Then they're like, wow, Tyler, you're right. I had so much more energy. I was actually going to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day before. I only pooped maybe every 3 days, But once they start seeing it, they're like, okay, let me make this more of a ritual. I actually see that it works.
I love that. Tell us about some of your rituals that you feel like have been very powerful. You shared one, the drinking the room temperature water. I'm curious about that because I love me some ice. So why room temperature water?
It causes the organs to have to work harder. And I'm right with you. I love ice cold water. I love it. But what I have started to do was just, I make it pretty so that I want to see it. So like, get you your water, have it room temperature, cut a slice of lemon or lime in it, and just focus on the benefits and the way that it makes you feel. And honestly, it helps you become hydrated faster. So if you're dehydrated and you drink a cup of cold water, your body is going to have to go through more processes to heat the water up before your body can actually get what it needs from it for the hydration. Whereas when it's room temperature, your body's automatically able to move it through and do what it needs to do.
Oh man, I learn something new every day. That's amazing. So tell me about some of your other rituals. You helped me create one already.
Okay. I have a few. So my first one is waking up hours before my children. I have a 7-month-old and I have a 6-year-old.
Oh, you look good for having a 7-month-old. Okay, just put that out there.
Thank you.
You look balanced. You don't look like you're pulling your hair out. You look good. I'm giving you a high five.
It's tough, but thank you. Yeah, and I homeschool, so I'm with my children all day. Also trying to balance business. So something that really, really works well for me is waking up between 4 and 5 o'clock. Lately it's been more on the 5 because I'm still just adjusting and waking up and breastfeeding in the middle of the night and things. But waking up between 4 and 5 in the morning to go ahead and just give myself that start that I need. So then I can go ahead and I can stretch. I can do my morning pages, my morning journaling or reading. I do have a cup of tea, but it's just a small one because my son also wants his cup of tea when he wakes up, and he wants us to drink it together.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So, I incorporate that. Another one for bedtime, right? I feel like people focus a lot on morning routines and not enough on the nighttime routine, because the nighttime is how you set yourself up for success. Okay? So, nighttime, when the sun goes down, our lights automatically turn red. Now we're helping our body just be able to, produce the melatonin that it needs, get our circadian rhythm in order so that now everyone knows it's time for bed. The baby, he's yawning, he's rubbing his eyes, he's ready. My oldest, he knows it's time, So getting those nighttime routines, the morning routines are really beneficial.
No, tell us more about your nighttime routine. So we got the lights go red when the sun goes down. What else is in the nighttime routine? Let me know. I'm trying to get my routines together. Okay.
So it depends on what you have planned for the next day. So like if I know, so I recently finally started going back to the gym now. I go 2 days out the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the day before, I'm laying out my gym clothes. I have everything out so that when I get up, I don't have no excuses. No excuses. Just get up, get everything. So I have my gym clothes out. I have my apple on the table. I have my water there. So all I got to do is wash my face, brush my teeth, and go. I like to journal the night before. And just basically, I'm very intentional with dreams. That's even what I'm drinking here, which is one of my new blends. It's a dream recalling blend. And I like to write down what it is, my intent for while I'm sleeping. So if I'm stressed about today, I'm like, I pray that I wake up, with ease. I pray that, whatever was bothering me today, I don't wake up with tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Pray, just doing affirmations for recalling my dreams and having a restorative sleep. I also write down what it is that I need to do the next day. So a to-do list. And then dinner should be eaten by 6:00.
Okay.
Should be eaten after that, maybe 7 at the latest. So really my nighttime routine kind of starts then, because it's like, okay, so we done already got our food in. We don't need to be snacking. We don't need to be eating. After we eat dinner, we go ahead and have an evening walk.
Oh, I love that. Where do you live that evening walk at 6:00 when the sun's still out?
I live in
Okay. Oh, it's not warm there. So that means you are bundling up.
We go every morning. Even this morning, I'm like, come on, we gotta go. I got stuff to do. We get out. We do our walks every single morning.
So you guys do a walk in the morning and a walk in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because it's important to be out there when the sun is rising and when it's at its peak. That's when you're able to receive, as much vitamin D. And then it also helps at night when the sun is setting. It's just really what I try to do in my household is, even though, we live in these buildings and we're under all this artificial light and we're looking at screens and things all day, I try to take control of the things that I can. So making our bodies feel as close to nature as possible.
Yes.
When the weather is nice, my son, he doesn't play. He's taking his shoes off. He wants to run outside barefoot, just going out and making sure, we're just in nature. He's climbing trees. I'm walking in this fresh air, just really trying to live as close to nature and as possible.
I love that. And you're right. It really does come down to a ritual. Because when you define this is what we're going to do, then this is what we're going to do. But it takes that ritual mindset to say it's going to be a ritual. Speaking of ritual, I'm curious, how can we reconnect with an ancestral food wisdom in this modern world? So thinking about that, the ritual made me think of that, because I feel like our ancestors did a very good job at creating rituals and doing them.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think it's easier than people think. First off, talking to your elders, right? Like when we hear ancestors, we're thinking like, generations and generations and generations behind. And that is true. But you also have your grandparents, or some, if you do, or your parents or your grandparents, or maybe even stories of them, finding out things that, Did you have a uncle or a grandfather or grandma who grew things in the backyard? What were they growing? Paying attention to the foods that are around us, right? The herbs and things that are growing around us. That's what our ancestors did. They tapped into, everything locally. So in the springtime, going outside and harvesting like nettle leaf or dandelions, and like in the fall, like goldenrod, these things that are growing around us seasonally and eating seasonally. That's a very good way to tap into the ancestral knowledge. And then you realize that the foods that are local and seasonal, not only do they cost less inside of the store, but when you're eating them, they have the vitamins and things that you need. So let's think of like wintertime, right? The foods that are really, really popular and that are in season right now are like, or rooted foods. So like, or squash, like pumpkins and like eating those things. They're high in the vitamins that we need during this time when we're getting less sunlight. The fruits, the citrus fruits, the fibers, the apples, helping our body, our digestive system going, because our digestive system gets really sluggish around this time of the year. So if we're eating seasonally and also maybe just doing some research on things that our ancestors did and incorporating those rituals, you're eating, ancestrally without even trying too hard or thinking too hard. It just becomes like second nature.
Give us one. Give us one. Give us if we're looking for something to do that we're trying to live ancestrally. We're trying to tap into that knowledge, but we don't know where to look. We don't know where to search. Help us.
So I guess it would depend on your season of life, what it is that you need during that time, because our ancestors had different methods for all types of things, whether it's sickness or pregnancy or postpartum, or you know what I mean? It really just depends on that. But for me, when I think of like ancestral eating, the first thing that comes to my mind is eating like soups and stews for the winter time. Foods that are like warming up our bodies. Foods, as I mentioned earlier, with just like the relationship to food also goes back to comfort and culture. And you hear a lot of like, oh, our ancestors were eating chitlins. Our ancestors were doing this and that. We also have to keep in mind that, during that time, they kind of had to make do with what they had. If you take out the not so healthy foods that they may have been doing, just think about how they were doing it. So when they were cooking these soups and stews, so that the herbs and the spices could get all into the broth and, into the food, so that you're eating that and it was a slow cook, nice and frothy, and they call it the pot liquor, just eating like that. And also, when I think of ancestral, besides, herbs and things, I also think of using our scraps. So like, when I cook, my remaining vegetables and spices and things like that, yep, I put them in the freezer. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the week, I use those leftovers to make a broth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my husband does that. My husband does that. Yeah.
And it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's delicious. And like it makes everything have more flavor to it now, because you have all that flavor from the things you're making. And also when we think about the chitlins, we have to remember historically that they were giving our people the leftovers.
The leftovers,
the nothing, the stuff that they would have thrown away. But they figured out a way to make something out of it. And so they did. So, but now we don't have to get the leftovers. So we're intentionally making those choices. So now we can make intentional choices that are prioritizing our health and prioritizing our happiness and our bodies in a way that they couldn't.
Yep. We're living pretty privileged right now. I mean, despite everything that's going on, we're privileged to be able to access this information as well.
Yeah.
I think about back, they even speaking to my grandma about things, she's just like, wow, like you all have access to so much knowledge now.
Yep.
There's a lot of misinformation out here too, though. But, you know. Mm-hmm.
So much knowledge. It's so interesting. It's like, that's changing the topic a bit, but it's like everyone can talk. Everyone can share information. Everyone can share things, and people can attach to whatever they want to attach to. But it's like, how do you know what's real and not just some marketing ploy to get you to believe something?
Right. You know? Right. I think being able to research is a skill, because you need to be able to cross-reference different things. You should know. Once you start researching more, you start realizing, like, okay, well, this is not a credible source. Okay, this is. And then when it comes to diet, you know, there's so many trends and things out here now where I like to tell people, eat intuitive. Eat intuitive. You know, your body will tell you what it needs.
Oh, yes. Your body always tells you what you need.
It'll tell you what it needs.
But are you listening to your body?
And you know what, though? Sometimes, you about to have me go into something else. I'm going to just keep it short with this aspect. Sometimes people don't even know the difference because they're eating so healthy. Their bodies are full of parasites and yeast. So now you may think that, well, you are listening to your body, right? Because it's telling you, oh, let me go get that piece of chocolate. That's that parasite talking to you. But at the same time, when you are in a state of balance, you know, and you're more aligned, your body, you may be craving a piece of chocolate, but really your body could be saying, oh, I need more magnesium. But you don't eat magnesium enough. So I know I get magnesium when you eat that Reese's, so I'm going to tell you to eat that Reese's.
And that's the thing, is you have to be in tune enough to be able to listen and know what your body's telling you. For instance, when my head hurts, that's my body telling me I'm thirsty or I'm tired.
You're tired.
I'm not going to run and go get a pill because I'm tired or I'm thirsty. Period. That's what my body telling me. Oh, my head hurts. I need to go lay down. We're going to pause for meditation.
Now we will pause for a moment of meditation with Dr. Crystal Jones.
Wherever you are right now, just take a moment to experience your awareness. Notice what you see, notice what you hear, notice what you feel. What do you taste? Notice your being for what it is right now. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let it all the way out. And as you're exhaling, think about that oxygen moving to your heart. Get rid of those toxins that happen from residual volume when we don't completely breathe in and out. As you breathe in and you exhale fully, you're letting go of what's no longer serving you, so that the oxygen that comes to your heart allows you to give and receive love with boundaries, but no longer the walls that the toxicity creates. Continue in this breath. Continue in this being. And as you're in this being, start to become the love that you seek in this world. Start to become the forgiveness that you seek in this world. Become the acceptance that you seek in this world. And watch the universe mirror that back to you. I just wanted you to know that I am here always, for you, with you. Listen closely. The truth is within my voice. Come back to me as often as you like. I'll be here. Sincerely, your breath.
I love those pauses for meditation because I don't do them enough in my life. And so I'm so thankful that whenever I record one of these, I can force myself to pause again.
That's funny you said that, because I felt the same way. I'm like, I love that intentional pause. You know, it was beautiful. And then when it says sincerely your breath, That was a beautiful perspective.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yes. And it's always there. It's always there. It's like it's always a choice that you can make. And so it's a nice little reminder. It's like it's a choice that I can make. And the question I'm thinking of is, how can we create a positive and healing relationship with food? Especially in a society obsessed with dieting and weight loss. We kind of talked about that a little bit. I feel like everyone I meet, no matter what size they are, they're trying to lose weight, was once on a diet, blah, 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 blah. There's very few people who don't go down that path, but it's an obsession with trying to lose weight.
I think that focusing on how we feel more than how we want to look.
Ooh.
And don't get me wrong, we all deserve to look in the mirror and feel confident about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the world of all of this superficial, that's what I'm like this superficial way of living, a lot of people focus more on how it looks rather than how it feels. So I think that being intentional about what we eat and what we do and the satisfaction or lack thereof that it brings to us.
I think to do that, you have to assess how you're feeling. Exactly. Which I feel like is a question that we don't ask. It's something that we don't talk about. After you ate that, how did you feel? How did you feel?
Journal, write these things down. Like every time I ate this, it gave me energy. Or, oh, when I eat these things, I feel sluggish afterwards. Or, oh, I have gas when I eat this. Or, oh, this gave me a lot of clarity. Just really just checking in and taking inventory of how these things make us feel.
Which is back to the purpose of this podcast, is try to make us be intentional, conscientious, and think about how every decision makes you feel. When I talk to that person, how do I feel? When I eat that food, how do I feel? When I watch that show, how do I feel? It all comes back to how do I feel?
I love how you said, how do I feel after I talk to that person? That was something that, a few years ago, I had realized with a certain friend that I had. I'm like, wow, every time after we talk, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling like I overshared, or I'm feeling, and it's like, okay, I need to check in. What's going on here?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that is so important to know, how do things make you feel? Which is something I'm now with raising 2 boys. I always ask them, how do you feel? Because what I'm trying to teach them is to know how you feel. How does that make you feel? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you mad? Are you angry? How are you feeling? Because I want to help them learn how to know how things make them feel. So that way they can, of course, the mama wants them to manipulate it. So the things that make you feel good, so you can do more of those things.
Yep. And the things to do more of the things that make you feel good and do less of what doesn't. And to, express that and also to be able to regulate it. That's the problem with the world. One of the problems with the world. A lot of people are just unhealthy. Nervous systems are dysregulated. That's where just a lot of the negative things that are happening, that's what it stems from. Just people being unhealthy. Just not really.
When you define that, when you say unhealthy, what does that mean? People are unhealthy. What does that mean?
When I think of unhealthy, I think of you're just, your body is just not in alignment. Your trinity, your mind, body, and spirit is just everywhere. You don't know the difference between intuition and anxiety. You don't know how you're feeling or why you're feeling that way. You don't know the things that you're doing and the impact that it has on you. And also, sometimes you're so unhealthy that you're unable to even care about those things. Like when the gut is thrown off, everything's thrown off. So now if you're having these gut issues, mentally you're just not able to make the proper decisions that you need to make. And you don't have that that push or that desire to do better. That's where depression comes from. You know, it's all connected. It's all connected. If you're unhealthy, that means that you don't have a relationship with yourself, in my opinion.
Yes. We talk about gut health. Let's talk about gut health a little bit. I've been having a lot of conversations with people, like, a lot comes from my gut. I'm trying to do the work I can to keep my gut healthy. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? How do you keep your gut healthy? Like, how do you prioritize your gut health?
So they call the brain they call your gut the second brain. I personally say that it's the first, but we could go with the second.
That's fine.
We could go. And everything resides in your gut, right? Your gut is the center of everything. Your thoughts, your feelings, the way that your body is able to absorb food and process it, and when your gut is off, not only do you have unhealthy cravings, but your body's not able to receive or absorb the nutrients that it needs in order to move it through the rest of your body. So now you may be like, okay, you know what? Let me start eating a little healthier. Now you're doing it, but you're wondering why you're not feeling any better. That's because your gut was so disrupted that now all the things that you are eating, your body's not absorbing it. The absorption is just off. So in order to take, better care of your gut, you want to focus on like fermented foods, like the kimchi and the pickles and the pre and probiotics,
Mm-hmm. Oh, talk about that pre and probiotics. You need them both. You take them at different times. Like, tell us more.
It really just depends. Like, pre is before, and pro can be like during or after, and it kind of just helps like nourish different processes inside of the body, and really just being able to give your body what it needs to be able to absorb and release all of the waste, and basically keeping things from sitting too long inside of the gut. Because then, so even with speaking of like too long and things like that, that's why it's important to like mono eat, right? So not mixing certain foods together and not eating while you're drinking, that causes the body to, it's like, okay, well, I would typically digest this faster than I digested that, but you ate it together. So now I just got to hurry up and I'm just going to give you what I can, Now you got things that, should have taken longer to digest. Now they're coming right out. Mm-hmm, so your body's going to poop it right out. So now you didn't get any of those nutrients.
Yeah.
Or you have something that is sitting in there too long. And now it is fermenting. And now that is feeding that, and causing excess yeast inside of the body. The body is smart. It knows what it needs to do. It's just we have to be able to help it to do what it needs to do. So,
I never heard of mono eating. Tell me more about that.
Mm-hmm. That's so like, okay. So think of a common meal, right? Burger and fries. And then what? They throw lettuce and tomatoes on there, try to make you feel healthy, right? No, those lettuce and tomatoes, those foods digest at a different rate than the bread that you're eating, the meat that you're eating, the carbs from the fries that you're eating. Now your body's just confused with everything that you threw into it. So now you have things that's just like working like just at different rates. And now it's a lot going on in there. The acids aren't able to break down and do what they need to do. So mono eating is like eating more of the same thing. So like if you're eating like your sweet fruits or like your citrus and your sub-citrus fruits together, or like what I like to do is make like a big pot of like soup, especially throughout the fall and winter. I do really big pots of food, and we'll eat that soup all day long. So now your body, it's not worrying about digesting all these different things. Or like when we do have, so for instance, like inside of a smoothie, you shouldn't put spinach, even though it's a very common thing. people throw spinach inside of their fruit smoothies or kale because they're like, oh, let me get these vegetables with these fruits. Honestly, you should eat the vegetable smoothie or juice by itself, the fruits by itself. But you can add like citruses because citrus helps to break down like the cell wall inside of the vegetables. So like you can have like kale with lemon in it, or like even if you're having like a fresh kale, I'm sure you've probably seen this. If you've gone somewhere and they're giving you a fresh kale salad, they're gonna squeeze lemon juice and massage it in because that's gonna help break down the cell walls. It's good to eat these things separately instead of together because it just confuses the body and it makes the body have to work harder.
Interesting. How'd you learn that?
So I'm self-taught, but I'm also, I have a degree in biology and ecology. And then I was supposed to be a veterinarian. That was the goal. So I learned a lot about, animal anatomy and physiology and things. And it was always interesting to me how certain animals digest their foods differently. Some animals have 2 stomachs, where they can digest these foods differently than we can. So then for me, that just triggered like how does this work? And just kind of dive in more into that. So with me having just my scientific background and then also segueing like into my herbal practice and realizing that like when I first started my business, I didn't do a lot of teaching on health. I knew it, I went to school for it, but I didn't do much teaching on it. And then I'm like, you know what, these things need to be incorporated because nothing is going to work if you're not eating right. Food is the first of everything. Food is medicine. So if you're not eating right, nothing else is going to work. Like herbs, So it helps to just bring everything together. So sorry, I just went super long with that. I went to school for biology.
And that was great.
I've also taken a lot of other courses and classes and things like that.
Okay, perfect. I feel like sometimes this can feel so overwhelming to people if it feels so opposite or different from what they're doing. They don't know where to start. I do the exact opposite. I eat my burgers and fries every day. I'm a pescatarian, so I don't. But I know some people might feel like that. So I'm just curious, like, what is one small change that they can do, or what's something realistic, or something that doesn't feel so overpowering? I know sometimes with Black and Green, where I'm trying to convince people. I like the word convince people, and I'm trying to encourage people. I'll use that word instead. Encourage people to use more natural, non-toxic products. I'll often hear, that's too overwhelming. It's too much work. I can't do all that. Blah, 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 blah. I can't change all my products. It'll be so expensive. And my advice usually for them is don't change everything at once. It's not sustainable. There's no way you can change everything at once. Change that one product that you like the least. The product that you don't like, change that one first.
So I work with people to help them, create their homes, like to make it more of a healing space. So when I speak to people, I always recommend certain non-negotiables for getting into better health, right? So you have your pots and your pans. You're cooking every day, right? You're cooking every day. So let's start there. Let's changing out, your pots and your pans and getting more like ceramics in your cast irons, right? Your water. This is something that your body absolutely needs. Let's have some filters in the shower. Let's have some water filters in the kitchen. Let's make sure that we're buying spring water so that we're, so starting these small things help as women, your menstrual products. Pads, tampons, things, because those are the highest with endocrine disruptors and things like that. The things that we're putting on our bodies, the deodorants, the lotions, the shampoos, the hair products, all those things. Just starting with one thing really does help, replacing. And I always try to tell people, don't look at it like you are taking things away from your life. Honestly, you're adding more quality to your life. So what we're going to do is swap things out. What is your favorite food to eat? Okay, now let's go ahead and let's find some healthier alternatives to that. Oh, you like chicken? Maybe we could go ahead and try to start incorporating some oyster mushroom in there. It tastes just like chicken. Or if you insist on eating meat, let's make sure that we're getting grass-fed meat. Let's make sure that there's no hormones and things being added to it. So just finding those replacements
Yes.
for their favorite favorites.
Yes. I'm curious, what's your diet?
I am an intuitive eater. So, but you can say plant-based, right? Okay, so back when I was in college, I went vegetarian. And no, I'm sorry. What did I do first? Vegetarian or vegan? I tried to go vegan. And then my hair and my nails were falling out. Like, it was literally like, I could go like this. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm like, okay, Tyler, you just removed everything from your diet and just start eating salads every day. Like, that's not, no.
Yeah.
We have to replace these vitamins, these minerals, these amino acids. Like, we have to get these in.
Yep.
So then I ended up going over to vegetarian and just still trying to incorporate things. So then I went pescatarian. Then I went vegan. And then I went pescatarian again. And now I like to just say that I'm plant-based. I eat seafood. So if we were to label, I really don't like labels, but if we were to label, we would be able to say that I am pescatarian because I do eat my seafood. I don't eat dairy. I did start incorporating it back into my life a little bit, and then I had to completely stop with me breastfeeding and everything. Don't want that going into the baby, and I just try to stay away from animal products, to be honest. But I have to be honest and admit that while I feel like, and this is the phase that I'm in my life, really trying to understand and see where my standpoint is, because with my first pregnancy, I was vegan and it was fine. Towards the end, I started incorporating fish. I started eating my seafood again. And then when I was breastfeeding, I was doing seafood and eggs. And then I stopped again. And now with me, having my 7-month-old and still breastfeeding, I realized that the body needs different things at different times. So it's like, okay, I'm going to keep on eating my seafood. I might have eggs here and there, but even with eggs, I'm trying to get rid of that. I don't do dairy. So I'm pescatarian, but it's more fruit, vegetables, legumes and things like that more than anything.
Yes. I love that. My husband is basically a chef, and so he does, and we are trying to be very plant-based with things. And so when we were talking about the mono diet, I said, I wonder how he would like that, because there's a bit of art and science behind it, where he likes mixing together these flavors from this thing and from that thing and try to recreate it to recreate some kind of meal. And so I can't wait to talk to him and see how he would like this idea. My instinct was that he will definitely not like it, but I'm curious to see how it feels. But we're both pescatarian, and I always say I could not become a vegan because I love my crab, I love my shrimp, and I love my cheese. I don't need milk, but I need my cheese.
It's really hard for me too. I won't lie. Like, I love mac and cheese. I do. And I'm just like, Tyler, when are you going to get to the point where the thought of these things that that aren't good for you don't even, they don't even create that, like, ooh, in the back of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to eat, I was just now at an event and I'm looking at everybody eating the mac and cheese. I'm like, I know that is so good. But I know.
And vegan cheese is not good.
It's not. It doesn't even melt right. It doesn't.
It's not good.
This is something that I try to remind myself. A lot of the food that's not good for us tastes good for a reason. They know what they're doing. They want our bodies to keep wanting and to keep eating these things that are, slowly. For instance, like dairy is terrible for the body. It creates so much mucus and inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Like, Tyler, you're stronger than than these desires.
Also, something that makes me feel better. I'm curious if it'll help me feel better. If the cheese is aged longer, I'm believing it's better for me. I don't know if that's true. But I read somewhere about its age. I'm going to mess it up. I don't know it exactly. I'm going to say what I think it is. So I just want to preface it. I'm not 100% positive. But I think it was something about the lactate. I think it was an aging, it decreases. And so if you age your teeth, lactose, yes, that's it. The lactose decreases when you age it.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I'm curious for you to help me look it up. Now I'm curious to look it up now to see.
Look, I'm gonna look into it. That's interesting. Yeah. I did try to tell myself when I had went back to dairy for a while. I was like, "It's okay. You're getting grass fed." Like, deep down, yeah. But that is an interesting point. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I'm again. But I think someone told me, they said you can Google anything. If there's something Google that can prove anything that you want to prove, okay? But I Googled it, and I did find it again that the lactose content does decrease as the cheese ages. So if you're just trying to avoid lactose, that you can just age the cheese and avoid lactose. I'm not trying to pull you into the cheese world, but come on.
No, I'm fighting hard to stay away. I don't know. Once I'm done breastfeeding, I might, But no, I'm really trying to do better with that. Because like in every other aspect, I'm good. But when it comes to the cheese, you know what it is also? It's in everything. And I'm just, I realize, and I don't realize it until I'm like seeing other people eat these things, or I'm at a place and I'm looking at a menu and I'm like, oh, if I was still eating, that would be good.
Okay, that's a good thing. Looking at a menu, how much are you cooking yourself and how much are you going out to eat?
I'm definitely cooking about 90%.
Yes.
I feel like 95.
Yeah. I feel to be an intentional eater, an intentional consumer of food, you have to cook food yourself. Because that's the only way you can control what's inside of it.
You have no idea what people are using, like even down to the oils, right? You don't know what their hygiene is like. And then even on a spiritual tip, I remember this one guy that I used to learn from a while ago, and he would say that he didn't like going out to eat with his family, and if he did, he only went to like 5-star restaurants. He said because the energy and the love that they're putting into the food is so much better than someone who's only getting paid pennies to work. They're just doing it, and it changed my perspective.
Yeah, and it reminds you that energy is transferable. That energy is transferable. A big piece of why the products on Black and Green are so amazing for you, because the Black women who are making them are transferring their energy into them. So when you use their body butter, when you use our laundry detergents, when you use our shampoos, they're filled with love. It's just like, ooh, I feel better. I feel better after I'm using this. That's why.
You ever go to a hairstylist and you notice the difference? Oh, that person cannot get back in my hair again.
No, never.
It's like, oh, wow. That's why they say certain people have growing hands. That's really what it is. It's the energy that person has that they're putting into your hair.
Yeah, some people have done their work. They've done their work to heal and not transferred their frustration, their anxiety onto you while they're doing services for you. So I think it's beautiful of the idea of being conscientious about conscientious about the things and decisions that we're making, is because every decision matters. Every piece of food matters. Everything you put inside your body or on your body matters.
It matters.
It matters.
It all ties in, and we don't want our bodies to have to go through a constant state of detoxification. Our body's already naturally detoxed every night, when we're sleeping and things. That's why it's important to have that time in between, not eating once the sun goes down and not eating again until around noon. That's why it's called break fast, breaking your fast and doing that intentionally with fruits and things like that. It's just, basically just, we want the things that we're eating to support our bodies in its natural processes.
Yeah. Is that another one of your, what's the language that you use for them? I want to get it right. I can't remember it. There's another one of your, not rules, rituals.
Rituals, yes.
Is you don't eat before noon?
No. So when I wake up in the morning, we have our warm water, our teas and things like that. We do eat fruit.
Okay.
But at noon is when we'll go ahead and have our breakfast, which is really like brunch at that point.
Okay, perfect.
And we don't do like breads and things like that. Like, honestly, a lot of our food kind of looks the same. Like, I have certain meals and things that I'm making consistently. And because I kind of feel like, once, like, don't fix what's not broke. And if we already have like these meals that are like super nourishing, super fulfilling, we love how they taste, we keep it up. So like breakfast, we have mushroom consistently with our mushrooms. So like we might have like mushroom and plantain and quinoa with broccolini, or maybe we won't have broccolini this time. Maybe we'll have okra, or maybe we'll have like sauteed kale. Yeah, just really just trying to just be intentional about not eating.
Yeah, I love that. My go-to breakfast is avocado. I love just cut the avocado in half. I can eat right out the avocado.
See, that is not where my taste buds are. But the thing is, I incorporate avocado a lot. I'll chop it up and add it into different meals. I'll put it into our smoothie every morning, or fruit smoothie. But eating it like that, my son, he loves avocado. Me, I don't know what it is.
I wonder if it's a texture thing, or what is it? Because avocado really don't taste like nothing. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. It must be. I'm not even a texture person, but it must be a texture thing. You're right.
It must be a texture thing. Because it really, Because I'll do that, and I'll put like some hot sauce on there and some like chopped up olives on there. Ooh, I'll tear my avocado up.
Put some cayenne.
Yeah, so good.
See, I love that you mentioned that, because that is one tip that I always tell people too, with like who want to just like incorporate better things into like their diets, is adding cayenne or ginger to your food, whether it's just the spice, or in the morning with your lemon juice, you can put some powder, and that really helps with the digestive system, gut health, immunity.
Yep. And I take a daily shot with water, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, and ginger in there. I take that every day to kind of help me balance out my health.
See, you got your rituals too.
I know. See, it's funny. I never used that language, but okay, I have my rituals.
Yeah, make sure, and just for me.
My thing cut off. Let me go start it back up, Miss B. It stopped because we started talking. I usually
99% uploading.
Okay, perfect. Let's go start this back up. I would hate it for not to get the end of the conversation. We about to say goodbye, and I want you to talk about your business. I want to make sure I get that recorded. So continue.
I forgot even what I was saying.
You said you have your rituals.
I was going to say, it's also important, like how you said you don't use that wording. Use it. Language really helps. I know for me, it helps me to feel empowered. When I'm knowing that I'm being intentional about these things and I'm having my rituals and just certain mindsets, just certain language could be empowering.
Yeah. There's so much power in words. There's so much power in words, and the words we say to ourselves, the words we say to others, or words we use when we describe things. There's so much power in that.
And also, how you said, what is something that I would recommend for like, incorporating these things into our households? I also think it's really big for parents to bring the children in, like having the kids help with the cooking and explaining to the kids why they should and shouldn't be eating certain things, so that, it's like teaching them early to have that relationship with themselves as well. So then like my son, he can eat something and he'll just be like, oh, mommy, yeah, I didn't really like the way that made me feel, or, oh, this was good, and he's 7 and he's been like this his entire life. So I think it's really good to get the kids involved.
I love that. That's a great parenting tip. Just involve them as much as possible. Like
even the kids in the neighborhood, or your nieces and nephews. They could be someone who may not even want children. Okay, nieces and nephews, godchildren, friends' kids, just
exactly
get them involved. It takes a village.
It really does take a village. And thank you, village, for helping me. Thank you, okay? Because we need you. There's no way we could do this without our village. There's no way. So tell us about your company.
Okay. 80 Herbals. It started off as Bad Tyler B Apothecary. I am still in the process of rebranding. I'm like halfway there to 80 Herbals. It first started out with me just doing things for friends and family. Back when I was in college, I was just dealing with a lot of feminine issues. Just couldn't get rid of these things. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to keep taking their medicine because then it's giving me a yeast infection or it's caused a yeast infection, back and forth, all these feminine issues. So I'm like, let me apply this knowledge that I have of the body and food and let's get into it. And I started incorporating herbs as well, because herbs are not just supplements. They're also here to bridge the gap between, what our body needs and what is lacking. So I started, doing these things and then helping out friends and families. And they're like, Tyler, you should turn this into a business. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. So I went ahead and did that. And now it has grown into what it is now. And like, I have herbal products. I also have, I do herbal workshops. I have ebooks. I have tea events where like I'll do a pop-up tea bar and like I can come and do baby showers and weddings and all different types of things. So it's really become like this hub for anyone who's looking to be supported through any part of their wellness journey.
I love that. That is amazing. I feel like those are the best products that come from there. All the Black and green artisans, it didn't start with them trying to be a millionaire and make all this money. It always started with, I was looking for this product. I couldn't find it. I started making it myself. I shared it with my friends and family. They said, this is amazing. You should make it a business. And that's how the business was born. Mm-hmm. Most of them have full 9-to-5 jobs, but they just do this on the side. And I feel like there's so much love in that money was never the driver. Solving a problem was.
Solving the problem. And when it comes to herbalism and just wellness, it's a huge problem that a lot of people don't even really realize that we're dealing with. It's a constant attack on us, and especially women. That's really where it's interesting because I didn't really start seeing myself as a women's brand until last year when people would say that to me, like when they're, reaching out to me or they're like recommending me or, things like that. Yep. It's like, I didn't realize, but yeah, a lot of things are like, I have a children's line for, like I have a children's daily, a children's, a kids daily, a kids calm and a kids plus. And I also have products for men.
Oh, awesome.
It's mainly for women. There's a huge attack on our wombs out here right now. Mm-hmm. And it's just really important for us to just be able to really take our health back, take our power back into our hands. Just have autonomy over these things. That's even how I segued into birth work. So that's even what 80 Herbals is branching out to now. And I'll be starting midwifery school next year, hopefully.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. I delivered both my boys at home.
Say that again.
I delivered both my boys at home in my birthing pool.
That's what my second birth was. My first one was supposed to be at a birth center, but I ended up having to get a cesarean. And with this one, I had a VBAC at home, in the living room, in the pool. Isn't it such a, like...
Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Like my previous world, I worked in hospital administration. And I was like, I know the way hospitals treat women. I am not having my child there. I'm not doing it. Okay. I'm just not doing it. And so I was very keen on that not happening. I just did all the stuff to make sure I could have my child at home and there wouldn't be any issues. I was dead set for those 9-10 months to make sure that I was going to have an easy pregnancy. My second son came out in the shower before my midwife even got here.
Wow.
I was in the shower I had my water had already broke. I was in the shower. And I was like, baby, he's coming. He's like, no, baby, he's not coming. She'll be here. I said, no, baby, he's coming. He's like, oh, he is coming. He caught him and threw him right on my chest. And I went and sat down. I was like, all right, you're here. And I feel guilty for saying this. I was completely painless.
I can tell.
It was completely painless.
Wow.
Completely. I mean, I also think gravity was on my side. I was standing up, having the baby in a proper way to have a child.
Right.
Gravity pushed that child on. Now, whoop, there it is.
Wow.
It was completely painless. Like, even the little contraction, like, oh, ooh. And me and my husband got into an argument. He was like, you had a contraction. Why didn't you tell me? I don't know.
Do you have a high tolerance for pain?
I guess I do. Well, no, I don't. I have one tattoo, and I only got one tattoo because it hurt so bad. So I must not have a high tolerance. So like, never again.
But you know what, though? Some people really do experience painless births.
Yeah, it was a painless birth.
They do. My aunt, she has 3, and she said her second just came out like just bloop, just like you just came right out. You know? It's
I mean, like, and then I wrote a whole blog about like, here are the things I did to try to make sure my both. One, there is a lot of grace there because I do think that my ancestors and God, I know through family stories that my line were often the breeders when they were slaves, that they would always get them pregnant because they could just kick out the babies. So it was known in our family history that the woman on our side can easily have children. So some of that is ancestral.
Absolutely.
That I received. And so thank you. But I did.
I love that you spoke on that because with my VBAC, I did a lot of womb work.
Yeah.
And, a lot of prayer, a lot of calling on my ancestors.
Yeah.
I even created a womb altar to be able to call through to ask for guidance, And my midwife, she was just like, Tyler, you were like so progressive and it's like you knew what to do. Yeah. I said, listen, that was my spirit guides. Like it
wasn't me.
It was not me. The positions I knew to get into and all the things. Looking back on it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was not me.
Very spiritual event that happened.
Like even the fact that I was standing up, like that wasn't my plan. Was to be in a pool. I had to pull out there, had the water in there. That was the plan. I was like, nope, you're going to be standing up in the shower. That's what you're going to do. Like, all right.
That's how birth happens. That baby knew how they wanted to come.
Yeah.
And it was right then and there.
Mm-hmm. He came right on out and opened up his eyes and looked at me. I was like, boy. Hello, mother. I was like, boy.
How long did it take for your midwife to get there afterwards?
She probably got there 30 minutes afterwards because she was on her way.
Wow.
Yeah, she probably got there 30 minutes after.
Placenta?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah, and I made placenta pills out of it.
Oh, okay. You encapsulated them.
I did. Yeah. I think I'm just now done with them all.
Really? I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I still have mine in the freezer. I'm going to bury it.
Oh, I love that.
The plan with the first was to encapsulate them, but the hospital stole my placenta.
Hospital.
I was so heartbroken.
They don't like us.
Hospital. And that's why I'm getting into this work. Yeah. So that I can advocate and be there and yeah. I
mean, because at the end of the day, hospitals are businesses.
Yep.
And I think once patients realize that, I think it changes the way you interact with them. That at the end of the day, they're trying to make as much money as possible. And the decisions that they're going to lead you to make are the ones that are going to help them make more money.
Yep.
That's grinding.
Yep. It's even down to like with, with 80 Herbals and just my approach to things is just, like I said, helping us take our power back, learning how, like, there are people who like to consider themselves healers. I don't like to consider. We all have the ability to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just here to help provide you the tools to heal yourself.
Yep.
And when, we're working on these things holistically and we're taking care of our body, we're getting to the root issues of what's going on. So we don't have to keep going back. They're at the big pharma, they're just giving us this medication so that they could just calm the symptoms a little bit and keep coming back and keep, giving them money.
Yep.
The main focus that I try to focus on with my business is just getting to the root of these issues so that you don't have to keep going back.
Exactly. Like even little small things. Like I said, I would love for Black moms to be connected to the Black and Green products to use their children and babies. So I started calling up hospitals like, hey, after the moms deliver, I want to introduce them to Black and Green products. And they were like, are you going to give it to us for free? I was like, well, tell me more about this. They said, the products that we give moms after they deliver, they got donated to us.
Right.
So here women are thinking, my hospital gave me this product. It must be a good product. The hospital got that product for free.
Right.
That's why you got it. Not because it's a better product for you, because they got it for free. But now you are tied to this product. It's such a nasty game.
It is. It is. It's all of it. All of it. We could talk for hours, but that
I know. I was like, okay, we got to get that out. I have a little outro. I'm going to play do I have my outro on here? Do I still have my little outro on here? No, I only got my intro. Oh, well, I'll just have to say bye. Thank you so much for joining me. Any final words you want to say before we go ahead and end it?
I just hope that anyone listening knows that you have the power to, you have the resources, they're there. And you have the power to take your power back. And it all starts with ritual and just really just listening to your body. So intuition, and creating these habits are not hard. Just start one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much. I have some new rituals I'm going to go build today now.
I'd love to hear that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Black and Green podcast. Did you have more questions for our special guest? Please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, check us out at blkgrn.com. Please subscribe and comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, buy Black and live green.